Nelly, we are back. Welcome to the Todd Durkin Impact Show. This is Todd Durkin, and it is the dog days of summer. It is the end of August. As this drops today on August 26th, my friends, we got a huge week ahead of us. Can I repeat? We have a huge week ahead of us. School's back in session for most schools. Colleges are back. High schools are back. High school football is back. College football is back. And the NFL is coming up. And the Impact Show continues in impacting. So, hey, my friends, I am so excited. Why? Because as you listen to this, I am back in upstate New York. We've got our Impact X Performance franchise meeting, and we are rocking and rolling over there. We got the big webinar coming up on the 27th. Coaching Greatness. Don't worry if you missed it. Just go back, coachinggreatness.com, Coaching Greatness, and sign up for that bad boy. You can hear more about it on today's show. And you're not going to believe this, but I'm heading down south. Williamsburg, Virginia. That's where I'm going to my alma mater. They're kicking off this Thursday night, August 29th, against BMI. The Keydets are coming to town, and I am going to be giving the old pregame speech to the Tribe Pride, baby. I can't wait to fire up some tribesmen and get ready. I have not been to a home game in a long time. Long time. So I'm excited to go down to Zabel Stadium and Jimmy Laycock Field and see the Tribe of William Mary play Thursday night. We have a book signing in Williamsburg, Virginia, and then I'll be in Georgetown. Georgetown, that's right, Washington, D.C. I'm all over the place. Why? Because Davidson Wildcats, Georgetown Hoyas. Can't wait to do that. And of course, we kick it off at my friend Kelly Young's place on the 31st with a True Strength book tour signing on Saturday morning, August 31st. That's why I said y'all better buckle up your bootstraps for a very busy week. But first, you got to listen to this. I gathered the kids. Yup, I got Luke, Brady, and McKenna all together, and we had a little bit of a powwow. For today's episode, you're in for a treat. Now, Luke is already at college as I record this because he's prepping for the Georgetown game, so we hopped on Zoom and wait till you hear what he had to say. And then I got Brady, my son Brady, who's 19. Luke's 21, Brady's 19, and Brady's at High Point, North Carolina. And you're going to hear some wisdom from that young soul. And then you're going to hear from my 16-year-old daughter. That's right, McKenna Durkin, and she's dropping some bombs today about what's really exciting in a 16-year-old's life. What is the biggest challenge and struggle that she has as a teenager? And then we have a little bit of a discussion about the family car. So you're not going to want to miss that here on today's show. So let's have a great week. Commit to greatness. Commit to creating some impact. And guess what next week is? Next week is Labor Day. Labor Day is coming up next week. So buckle up your bootstraps, get ready for a great week of football, a great week of life, and a great week of living some impact, baby. Without further ado, let's go to today's show. All right, here we are. I've got my son Luke on the podcast today. Luke, welcome to the Impact Show. What's happening?
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Good to be back. What's like your third time, I think. Right now you're tuning in from Davidson, North Carolina, and you are in the middle of football camp. So how you holding up? I know as this drops, it's the week of Georgetown, Davidson at Georgetown, but how you holding up in the middle of camp here?
It's been good. Last camp, so last ride, one more week to go, but body feels good and ready to roll.
I like that. Speaking of which, you look great, by the way. You look great. I'm looking, if you're watching on YouTube, my friends, I'm looking at his I wouldn't say dorm room because he's now in an apartment, but over your shoulder, that ain't you. Is that the poster that used to be in the gym?
No, it's a different one, but it's the same poster.
But
it is the Rocky Balboa.
I thought Luke stole my poster from the home gym. It's got, that ain't you. That's a great quote there. Hey, I've got a couple questions, and I'm sharing with you, Brady and McKenna on this week's episode. And I know you're in the middle of camp, so thank you. You probably have double sessions. Wait, that's right. You guys don't do double sessions anymore. All you folks like me, they don't have doubles. They have full session.
Walkthroughs.
Then they have
the doubles. It's walkthroughs or lifts, but yeah, it's not much.
God forbid you guys had double sessions, had to put on those smelly pads twice in one day. So you have meetings and walkthroughs for the second portion of the day. But I know you're busy. And as we record this, here's my question for you. My first one is, what's the most exciting thing happening in your world right now? And you don't have to say football because that's probably not the most exciting thing. What's the most exciting thing going on in your world right now, Luke?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely enjoying football with it being the last camp. That's pretty exciting, but also I'm trying to start to focus on the ROTC that I've been doing all summer, and I'm now submitting my applications for an ed delay and then doing all my branch interviews for option A, option B, option C. Gotta go through all those interviews, fill out applications. So kind of starting to focus on the Army career after football is done. And once I graduate, that's been pretty exciting the last couple weeks, trying to balance that with the football schedule, but it's been good.
Hmm. So let me slow that down because we have worked arduously on his Army ROTC career. If you follow very closely, you may know that when Luke went into Davidson, he went on and with the opportunity to go into the ROTC on scholarship. And now, as he is in his, well, school already started here, as he is a senior in college. I can't believe it's a senior already. But one of the things that you have the opportunity to do is to get an ed delay, an education delay. Luke, what does that mean to get an education delay? Tell our folks, just in case they don't know what that is, what's an education delay if you're going into the Army? Typically, you graduate this May, you're going to go into the Army for 7 years. Explain the ed delay.
Well, yeah, so it's basically what it sounds like. I'm just kind of delaying my service to get more education. So I'm filling out an application to go to law school, and then if they approve me based on my scores of how I did at camp with the LSAT and GPA and all that, they'll basically relieve me of my. I have a 4 year commitment now, but once I graduate, I'll still commission, and then they relieve me of like that immediate commitment, so I can go do law school for 3 years, and then I can just continue on that commitment that I have right now after I graduate law school. So that's the first priority that I'm focusing on right now. And then I also have to go through the other branch interviews for
Yep.
the alternatives.
And someone could get an ed delay in both medicine or law, correct?
Medicine, law, the chaplain is another one that people
Chaplain.
do.
Okay.
There's a few different, like I think it's like 4 or 5 different things you could do.
So it's very competitive to get the ed delay. If the U.S. Army says you get the ed delay, next May you'll go to, or next fall you'll go to law school, correct?
Yeah, so I'll still commission and start. It's technically starting my service, but it won't add on additional years. It basically just put me in like the inactive reserves, and then I'd go do school for 3 years before I start active duty.
Okay, okay. I hope that makes sense because I've studied it more than just a quick podcast. But Luke would then go to law school next year if that's the case. And do you have any preferences yet? If you were to go to law school, where you would go?
I mean, I've been looking briefly, but not much yet. I'm trying to hear back from the delay first and
Yep.
then start all that process with the law schools. But I have a couple in mind that I'm starting to do research on. So
Okay. I was trying to trip you up there. And then you spent, I don't know, close to 40 days in the woods this past summer. Before we took our family vacation to Montana to get outside and get away, all five of us. You were in the woods in Kentucky. Just share a moment about what the heck that's all about, who was there, and why do they do that?
yeah, so that was a great experience. Definitely pretty gritty, more than I expected it to be, but it was pretty much just officer training. If you go to college as a normal student, then you have to go to like a 3 or 4 month officer training afterwards to commission as an officer. But for ROTC, we kind of combine that all in 4 years. So all that you have to do is go to this 35-day training in Fort Knox before your senior year that kind of simulates that like training environment before you can commission. So I did that. It was about 15 days in the barracks, and then the rest of it were in the woods to where they're kind of just testing your leadership evaluations on how you run different platoons and different events and tasks that they had us do. But it went pretty well and it was a good experience. I learned a lot about leadership for sure.
Yeah. When you say that's all you do, I'm assuming, that's all you do is you go out in the woods for 35 days or whatever it is. I'm sure you're eating steak and lobster. You're getting 8 hours of sleep a night. You're gaining probably a lot of lean muscle. Tell us more about the food, the sleep, and how much muscle you gained during this time.
was a pretty strict MRE diet.
What does that mean?
About
What's
three a
MRE?
day,
Just
meals
in
ready to
case.
eat. I don't know if you can really call it real food, but it was a lot of those, and then not much sleep, probably 4 to 5 hours a night max.
Mm.
Yeah, it was definitely. I lost 15 pounds when we were out in the woods. My buddy, who's an O lineman on our team, lost 40 pounds. So I've got it all back now. It's that was about 3 to 4 weeks ago when I got out, and I'm back at my normal weight. So I did gain it back, but it was more of a dirty bulk rather than lean muscle.
What was the best part? Because when mom and I came out to graduation from that, which was awesome, by the way, it was really, really awesome to see you out there. What was the best part about the entire experience? Because you actually seemed to enjoy the whole thing.
I definitely enjoyed it being in the woods, which is probably not the most like popular answer, but I kind of liked it. We didn't have our phones out there. We were kind of just doing the same thing with different missions every single day. So I kind of got in a better routine when I was in the woods, just completing those tasks rather than when we were in the barracks having to go to a bunch of meetings and stuff all day. So I
Yeah.
actually liked being in like the training environment, running through missions, and when we were actually getting more evaluated on things.
Yep. Let's fast forward for a moment. We're talking about the exciting things. If you were to be granted an ed delay, what brand, so you then go to become an Army Jag attorney, what would you want to do with it? Like you go and serve in a certain division, or who would you work with potentially? What would you say you put in your billet? Would you put in, would it be with, Army
Yeah, so
Ranger? Like what
when
would it
you're
be?
a JAG, which is basically just a military attorney, but an Army JAG would then kind of go through a similar process and branch out to like different divisions. Then you're the JAG responsible for that division.
Mm.
So I'd love to go to a airborne infantry type division where I can still kind of do some of the cool stuff, but in reality, just handle the JAG
Define
JAG
cool.
duties.
Define cool. What is cool?
I
Jumping
think
out
it'd
of
be pretty
planes?
cool to jump out of planes, but we'll see.
Yeah, oh my goodness, you're like your mother. I love it. I love it. Hey, I'm really proud of you, and I love all that you're doing. And I know you in the last year or so have really gotten extremely focused on your service to the U.S. Army and what that means. And I couldn't be more proud of just how you're growing up and shaping into the young man that you are. Those of you who have followed Luke's career, it's pretty awesome to see what he's prepping for now in his senior year of college. Luke, one of the other questions I want to ask is what's the most difficult thing that either A, you're going through now or that you've been through, and how has it shaped you and your decisions you're making now as an Army JAG, hopefully an Army JAG attorney?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now I'm kind of just living the dream playing college football one more time. So this is really not too much adversity like in my
Mm,
present day just showing up at practices. But we do have a busy schedule. And I think the biggest thing is I've definitely faced some adversity in football the last year, which kind of spring my thoughts towards the future on like what I'm going to do after football. It's
mm.
obviously not going to be the NFL or anything like that. So as I'm focusing on having a good last year and going out with a bang, I'm definitely trying to balance like staying in the present and not getting too focused on like what's to come in a few months down the road, but kind of trying to stay in the right here, right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's good. That's hard to do, isn't it? Like to stay just really present, and not always looking ahead to next year or whatever. Because as a senior, as an athlete, as a student, and as a cadet in the ROTC, it's hard to stay in the moment. So that's kudos to you on that. Um, one more question on Davidson football. It's starting up here as this podcast drops. I'm gonna be back east this Thursday night as this podcast drops. I'm speaking to the William and Mary football team. Go Tribe! Can't wait to speak to them as they square off against the VMI Keydets. I'll be in Williamsburg, Virginia, on a Thursday night. Believe it's ESPN Plus game on that, and then I'll be doing a book signing down there, and then I'm shooting to DC to see the Davidson Wildcats take on the Georgetown Hoyas on that. So, as football season kicks off, what would be your predictions of Davidson football? You guys are in the Pioneer Football League. It's an FCS level program. But what would be your predictions if someone's not a big Davidson fan, they haven't really been following closely? What could one expect from Davidson Wildcats?
Yeah, I mean, I think we should have high expectations this year. We haven't won a championship since my freshman year, so definitely want to get back to that, run the table, and hopefully win another PFL championship and then make a run in the playoffs. That's always the goal. So I think we have a good team, a lot of talent, and we all put it together. It should be a good season. I'm excited to
Yep.
see.
So you guys play a Patriot level team to open up at Georgetown. Then we got some home games, and then you go into conference in week five because you have a bye week four, I
Yeah.
believe. Week five, you go into conference and where it's all at. And this year, you have the opportunity to come out here to San Diego to play the University of San Diego, not San Diego State, the University of San Diego. And I know you already have that one circled on the calendar on that. What's your hope for USD?
Oh, I mean, that's always the circled game for me personally. Last time I had the season-ending knee injury, the week before that
Yep.
game, my sophomore year. So I'm definitely excited to come back out for that one and
Yep.
hopefully make a splash.
And what are your expectations this year, football wise, personally? As far as I know, the team you guys want to win a championship, you want to help lead them to a championship. But what are your personal expectations that you would have for football?
Say personally, I'm just trying to compete to get back on the field, make a difference in whatever way the coach sees fit. Hopefully, I can have my packages and then take over the show once the team needs me. But I think physically, I feel great, ready to go. Mentally, I'm locked in. So I'm kind of excited once I get that opportunity to go and just make a splash, spark the team, and hopefully lead us to a few victories.
Yeah. Well, you guys have a great quarterback room. I know that a great quarterback room and some great young men on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. And I know this. I can't wait to watch you and all your boys play. I've known many of those young men now for 4 years, and these times go by really fast. And the one thing I'll say, and you're living it up, is before you know it, you're sitting back and you're watching your alma mater play, like I'll be doing for William Mary this week, and it's a very special time of your life. So I hope you can enjoy this week coming up at Georgetown and this season. There's a lot of ups and there's a lot of downs in every football season, in any athletic season. And I hope that all of you guys, all of your entire team has way more ups than you have downs on that. So, any final thoughts, Luke, as we depart? I know you probably want to take a mid-afternoon nap here as we record this. I know you're between double sessions and meetings and lifts and all this stuff. Anything else for our listeners today that you'd like to share?
No, I'm glad I was able to make it back on the show again.
Yeah, I know the last time we are talking, like you were talking about Brady and the notorious
Yeah, the
Cadillac.
last time was the time we talked about the fight for sure. That was
That's
it.
right, the fight. You have to go back and listen to that. Hey, Luke, one more question I have. You have a lot of friends from high school when you were here this summer. You got a chance to see, even though you weren't actually here very much in the last year. But if you were speaking with another man, young man or woman in their late teens or early 20s, your people, what's something that you would say to them when it comes to like living today ain't easy? We talk about social media all the time and this stuff. Like, how do you get through these times now with the craziness that exists? I'm going to talk to Brady McKenna and ask him the same question. Like, what's it like to be 21? You're 21 years old now. What's it like to be 21? What would be like one piece of wisdom that you abide by? Like, you're not, telling people what to do, obviously, but for yourself, what would be something that you do to minimize any angst, anxiety, not worrying what people think because everyone's got an opinion? How do you do that? And what would you say if you were just amongst your own peers?
It's a good question. I think it is pretty tough these days. One thing that I mentioned earlier that was pretty nice about this summer being in the woods with ROTC is like we didn't have our phones for I think it was 15 or 16 days where like they were locked up. We never even saw them at night or anything.
Hmm.
And it was actually pretty nice. Like a lot of us enjoyed it, me included. So I think now, like since I've been out of that, I'd say I always was a little old school with that, but now I'm kind of purposely taking more time away from my phone and just kind of like leaving it in my room while I'm going around the house doing whatever. So like I'm kind of not as addicted as so many people are. They always have it on them, always checking it. So I've kind of purposefully tried to cut that out a little bit and just focus on like being in the present, doing other things, whether it's like getting out, working out without your phone or not listening to music, doing different things where you can kind of like train your mind and not be so reliant on always having that mental stimulation with your phone. I think will definitely help that like
Yeah, that's
social
good.
anxiety.
That's good. Do you have like a like 1 hour a day or 30 minutes a day or 3 hours a day you're not going to have your phone, or just are there just little pockets of time like I'm going to work out and not put my phone on?
I don't think I haven't set a routine, like a strict routine like that yet with the phone, just
Mm.
because it's been only a couple weeks since I've got out. But I think I could see that coming because
Yeah.
I've kind of been more focused on it. So I might just start making myself a little routine to where I can put my phone away.
My friends, kids, you do not need to join the Army, the Marines, or the Navy to do that. But it's a great lesson, right? Like you probably think, oh my gosh, I'm going to do it without my phone for 15 days. And then you do it. You're like, wow, this is kind of nice. It makes me think about when phones didn't exist. Like, wow, now all of a sudden, how do you grow up in today's day? And I know parents, all you parents are like, sometimes you want to pull your hair out and you do. I think that's a really good lesson. Like, how do you do certain tasks? How do you do your homework without having the phone on, because it takes so much time to refocus and readjust to when you want to focus, and working out, right? Like you're between sets and you're like pinging people on that. So that's really good wisdom. Well, Luke, I can't wait to see you in just a matter of a few days at Georgetown. It's going to be great. I don't care if you don't play a snap, you play every snap. If you throw 3 touchdowns, you don't throw anything, you throw 3 picks. I love you. It's great to have you back on the show. I'm so proud of you with your goals. And man, whether you get the Ed Delay program or not, like as we talked about, that doesn't define your success. It's that continual goal of moving forward on that stuff. So I'm pumped to see you at Georgetown.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I love you too. It's been real. So see you in a couple of days, hopefully on the winning side after this game, but it'll be good.
It's going to be awesome. I love you.
I love you too, Dad.
Man, I am so proud of him and all that he's doing at Davidson and growing up. You parents know how quickly these kids grow up, and to see your kids growing up, especially like Luke and Brady, both are on the other side of the country, going to college. So I cherish every darn moment with them, including having the opportunity to have them on today's show. Speaking of which, we have a very torrid book tour schedule going on as we speak. I'll be in Williamsburg, Virginia, um, this Thursday night, and then I'm going to be in Washington, D.C., 15 city in 90 days. I tied a lot of those cities to places where Davidson football is going to be. So I'm talking Ohio, Indiana. We're all over the place with that. Not all the places, but many of the places. So make sure you go to the website to check out the book tour, because I'm following Davidson football over the country, and it's a very well-traveled school, with that being said. And one thing that all you parents know, that when we talked about adversity, and it's one thing I'm going to ask Brady and McKenna here also about, that is, we as parents hate to see our kids go through adversity and tough times. We'd rather go through it ourselves than have them go through tough times. But truth be told is, these are the types of things that really make our kids better and help them grow up. We don't like it. It's hard as heck. It provides angst in our own stomachs. But I am so proud of Luke, and knowing where he's at now and how he's so focused on the U.S. Army ROTC program, and hopefully becoming an attorney through there, whether it's as the Ed Delay program, or he goes and serves for a year or two and then goes into law school. It's really, really exciting to see as a parent the path and direction and focus he has. So kudos, thumbs up, Luke. Great to have you on today's show. That being said, now we're going into studio with the middle child. Let's go hear from Brady Durkin right now. All right, we now have Brady Durkin in the house. Brady, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, the last time I was here, it was me and Luke and you, and we were chopping it up with the Durkin boys. So I'm excited to be back.
That's right.
I'm excited.
All right, so last week
Yep.
we had a conversation with your mom and Julie, and we were trying to remember what Luke had said. It was something about the Cadillac was it notorious?
Notorious around the ranch.
Notorious on the ranch. I'm not quite sure what that meant, but people are still laughing about that notorious Cadillac around the ranch, around the Scripps Ranch area. So hey, it's great to have you. As I'm sharing yourself and your sister McKenna and your older brother Luke, I just got really 3 questions for you today. And the questions, we got a lot of parents listening, we got a lot of kids your age who listen and walk into class or whatnot, and I love that. And I know you've listened to many episodes, but here's my question for you today. Number one is, what's the toughest thing that you have to deal with today, in these days? Like, not just today, but like, what's the toughest thing you're dealing with?
For context, if people don't know me, I'm 19 years old. I go to High Point University, and sometimes as a college student, you want to just be constantly winning. You want to be doing everything you can, but I think what's important is that I be patient and that I learn what I need to learn. So for me, that patience and just that humility and knowing that I'm not behind, or I don't need to do this and this and this and this, and constantly stress myself out, because if I am living in a fast go way, then I'm going to be stressing myself out, be causing myself unnecessary anxiety. So just kind of like being grateful and patient with where I am at, and that's going to lead to the successes and the wins that I want, compared to saying I need to do this, so I'll force myself to, rather than like it will happen. I trust God. I trust that by learning and by doing what I need to do, those wins will come, and I won't have to stress out.
How do you stay patient? Because you have big dreams and aspirations, but how do you stay patient in the process of learning?
Just gratitude for the ability to learn. I mean, if I'm not grateful for what I have, then I'm going to falter over. I'm going to be like, I want this, I want this, I want this, and I'm not even looking at what I already have and what I already am doing, what I have, and where I'm at.
Yeah. So staying present.
Yeah, staying present.
Not getting too far down the line.
Just being thankful.
And by the way, whether you're 19, you're 30, or you're 50, or you're 70, many times that is the case, is we want things to happen now. And many times I know not just you yourself, but people will look at social media, they'll look at what other people have, and some young 20-somethings are becoming millionaires, and they're doing all this stuff, like, man, I can do that. I think to stay grounded, like you said, and focused on your gifts and your skills is an important yet tough act in today's day, to make sure that you're your most genuine self and your best self. So that's really good, Brady. That's real good. Anything else on that when it comes to those challenges of staying present, dreaming big yet staying present in the now?
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess just to further emphasize the fact that I have that type A personality. I'm ambitious. I have like those aspirations, but it's important to stay present and stay thankful, or else those aspirations and that desire to do stuff will kind of
You're just like your mother. You're just like your mother.
I hear that a
lot. Oh man, chip off the old block. How about what's most exciting in life for you right now?
I'm super excited to get back to school. Year 2 at High Point.
You mean you haven't loved being home and hanging out with me and making sure that you do?
No, it's been great. It's been awesome. I mean, obviously, being away from home in North Carolina for my first year gave me a greater appreciation for home over the summer. It was an amazing summer. I had a great summer and just so many great experiences. But then I'm super excited to get back to school. Year 2 of studying media production at High Point. So I got all these major oriented classes coming up, and I'm super excited to, again, like I said, learn and just be present there and be happy with what I have.
Yeah. Media production. Speak a little bit more about that. Like, what are your eventual hopes, dreams, desires with media production? When you say learning, what are you hoping to learn now that's going to help you impact you down the line?
Well, media production is media. That's like the way you can transfer your story. That what is my medium, and right now it looks like video. And if I have a story that can affect people's lives, the more I can learn about how to actually get them to see it, or get them to watch it, get them to listen to it, whatever that medium is, the more I can learn about them, viewers or an audience consuming that, then the story, I'm confident in the story, because like that works out. But then as you continue to just learn on how people can, what do they click on, what are they gonna watch, or how much quality are you going for, and you want to go for as high of quality as possible.
So you're looking at the analytics, you're looking at trends from Gen Zers all the way up to Gen Xers.
Yeah, and just like how to make something good, how to make a good video. And I think that's super important because you can have a great message and you can have a great story. Sometimes people maybe focus too much on having a quality video and they're missing the story, and that you don't want that. Or it could be vice versa, and you have a great story but nobody's going to watch it because it doesn't look good.
Because in today's day, it's got to look good.
Yeah, I mean you got to hook someone. So
I love it. So you talk about video. This is a podcast, video and audio. What does the future look like for podcasts and video and audio podcasts?
That's a great question. I guess I don't see it going anywhere yet. I mean, there's a lot going on, and I feel like so many people have podcasts. You look left and right, and there's so many. What stand out about yours? Like why watch this podcast compared to the other podcasts? There's so many that you just have to stand out, and as people continue to do that, you just have to find your unique thing.
Yep.
So
I recently shared a bit on podcasts. There's over 165 million North Americans who listen to podcasts daily. That number is going to grow to 265 million North Americans over the next year. That many people will be listening to podcasts. To your point, Brady, what I'd say is this: if you have a great story or a great message, and you are using audio like we are, and we're using video on YouTube, all of our podcasts are on YouTube as well. There's great opportunity to spread great stories, great messages to impact people out there. So I love where you're at with like what's most exciting for you is you're excited to go back to school. You got a great semester coming up, I know, there at High Point and in your actual field, which is cool. One other question I have for you, and it's really, really cool. You had an awesome internship this past summer. You got an internship with my dear friend, Pastor David Jeremiah. And 5 days a week from 8 a.m. till, 5 p.m., you were down at Turning Point Ministries with Pastor Jeremiah and his team, learning hands-on all of the ins and outs of not only the ministry, but also in the production of how do you take the story or the word and turn it into a ministry that reaches millions of people. Talk about your internship experience with Pastor Jeremiah and the team, and maybe like one or two lessons that you got out of this summer.
I think that there's countless lessons from what I learned. I think every single day I might have learned something from I was a production assistant at Turning Point, and I learned so much. From day one, I could not have poured out as much as I was poured in. So it was this constant growing, learning. I felt like as a production assistant, you wouldn't typically be getting poured into as much as I was at Turning Point. It was unbelievable. I learned so much about media, for one thing, and as someone who's going into media production, that's super important. That was awesome. All the lighting, being on a set, editing, all these different things, working with cameras, being hands-on. I learned so much about that and just like what it's like to be in a studio, and that's awesome. That's great. I could have left with that and been so happy, but it didn't stop there, and that's what's important. It went into my life and just how to be a man of God, and I think that it's super important to, whatever your profession is, you are coming as something more than just that. You are for God. Whatever you're doing is for God. So I mean, when we're on our sets with people who might not even work with Turning Point, could be hired, they feel that presence. When we're in New York filming man on the street interviews, talking to 50 people, they feel a presence from the 6 of us for some reason. Like they're like, what's different about them? And hopefully we're just ministering by talking to all these different people and living the way that we need to live. And for me, just to be around these types of people every single day for 10 weeks, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, just by observing. And then they're also saying, like, just quick little lessons, just like this and this and this, and you're like, wow, this is awesome. I don't feel like I can ever deserve this, but it's awesome. So it was a great summer. I learned so much stuff.
Talk about more about that New York trip. You went to New York for how long again?
So I went to New York for a week. We were doing a man on the street interview campaign for Pastor Jay's new book, The Coming Golden Age. And we were just talking. We were talking about what people's perfect days look like. So we were just asking them questions about their opinions. We just want to get their opinion. And by them being around us and us being around them, we could have that conversation, and it sparks things. It sparks deeper conversation. Unbelievable trip, but every single day just in the studio was unbelievable. So there was everything was great. You know, I really couldn't have been more grateful.
If there's one thing that you could really encapsulate that whole experience, what would it be? If you could, I heard gratitude, but if there's a lesson, you're on a walk and you're like, man, like I'm so thankful for that. Like, was there something that you leave with saying, I'm going to pay it forward by this, or how it impacted you? Like, what would that be?
I mean, out of the lessons that were taught, one of the ones that I think is very interesting and there's so much depth to it is just two words: be indispensable. And in a work standpoint, that means something. But then in a life standpoint, I feel like that means so much more. Where being indispensable at work is doing every single thing you need to do before you might even need, like you are on top of your game. But then in life, it's how can I live out my purpose? How I'm here for a reason. How can I do that? And I'm the only one who can do it. I'm here for that reason. So how can I be indispensable here? Can I get someone a water, or can I hold up a light? What can I do to just make a difference? And that goes for work, that goes for life. What conversations can you have with who you don't know who needs you? So how can you be indispensable? Not only in a work setting, but also just everywhere.
What a great experience.
It was awesome.
What a great experience. I know Pastor Jeremiah called me on the last day and was so grateful to have the opportunity to work with you on that. And I thought, man, here he is calling me to have the opportunity for you to work with him and his amazing team of people. You know, and then on the last day, something really cool happened. You want to just share what happened on the last day in your last meeting? You had a chance to talk to a few of those people.
Yeah, I mean, the last day I was just, gratitude was given to me. And again, that's something that I should have been giving on that. I should be saying thank you, which of course I was, but for them to say thank you to me, it's just something that's different. You don't expect this like production assistant to get that much like gratitude, like that thanks, because you feel like maybe you're a lower position, but then to just be like recognized and said thank you for everything that you did, that's amazing. And it was truly another eye-opening experience, even on one of my last days, to just be like, wow, this is
power of gratitude. Right? And that was a meeting of what? There's about 30-something people in that meeting?
That was a big meeting. That was the creative meeting. Like, there was a lot of different people in that meeting, at least 30. So just to be recognized in that way, it was unbelievable.
Well, when I talked to Pastor Jeremiah that night, he was so excited and proud of you. And then you came home that day, and for the second time, last year after Alaska was the first time, he had handed you something. What did he hand you?
He handed me the manuscript for The Coming Golden Age. So I have the book, and I've been reading it, and it's just like another moment of like, wow, thank you. Do I deserve this? I don't know. I feel like, again, you're just given so much that all you want to do is continue to give. So it's unbelievable.
So just to make sure you understand that, Pastor Jeremiah is wrapping up his latest book, which will come out in October, And last year, after the Alaskan cruise that he has, he gifted Brady that book. And then this year, just a few weeks ago, gifted him the manuscript that he's been working off of and a signed copy of that. And I thanked him for that, because here's the thing for each of us, men and women, you never know how your words, your deeds are going to impact somebody. And I thanked him because you never know how a quote simple deed like that can impact a young man or woman. And when you pay it forward, you don't know how a small deed can really make a profound impact, because Brady that night was glowing when he came home, and was so excited for the opportunity. Number one, he was acknowledged in the meeting. Then he had the opportunity to actually stand up and share his gratitude with all of the people in that meeting. And then later that day was gifted the manuscript from Pastor Jeremiah. Was really, really special. So it was really cool to see you in a routine of getting up early, or sometimes you had your 5 a.m. grind. You'd work out. You were a working man at 19. You'd grind all day at Shadow Mountain and Turning Point, and then you'd come home and you'd go work out again, or you'd relax sometimes, whatever it was. But I'd always hear about every night about your team that you were working closely with and what you were working on that stuff. So Brady, thanks for being here today. It's been an awesome summer, and I wanted to kick this off so that they could hear from you the toughest things that you're dealing with these days, the things that are most exciting you, and the gratitude that you share for the internship with Pastor Jeremiah. So I can't wait to see you over in North Carolina as you get ready to depart here in a couple days, both to see Luke and to see you. And let's make sure that this coming semester, you're locked in, baby.
Oh, yeah.
You're locked in. You ready to go?
Yep, it'll be good. Thank you for having me.
Love you, son.
Love you.
All right. I am so excited for y'all to hear from the one and the only, my beautiful, gorgeous daughter, McKenna Durkin, is in the house. McKenna, welcome to the show. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Are you excited?
I am excited.
So tell all our listeners how old you are, what grade you just entered.
I'm 16 and I just started my junior year of high school.
Woo!
On Monday, so yeah.
Whoa. Getting older. And you play soccer and lacrosse.
Yes.
And that's awesome. And you had a very busy summer.
Super busy. I had 8 trips in 9 weeks. So I had like 4 tournaments, and then I had camps that I did for colleges. So I was basically gone all summer for lacrosse, but it was super fun.
East Coast, mostly.
Yeah, East Coast, and then I went to an Oregon camp, so a little bit closer.
People keep asking me, like, are all your kids going to go back east? Are they all going to end up in North Carolina? I don't know. I've always made the thing, though, when the kids were younger, that they're going to just get away. Just go spread your wings and fly, young kids, young birds. And you don't know yet, do you?
I don't know. Yeah, I can't talk to colleges yet. September 1st is
just a couple days away as this podcast drops.
Yeah, so that is going to be really exciting to see what colleges I can finally talk to.
See if the phone rings.
Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking, but it'll be exciting.
If the phone rings, do you know what to do with it? Like if it rings, not like a text. Like they're actually going to call you.
Yeah, of course.
And you got to pick up the phone. We're going to talk, kiddos. We got to talk to those coaches and recruiters. So the schools, because you said 8 tournaments between your mom and I. Kudos to your mom, because she was back east as much as I was back east. There was a lot of time spent with all of these different recruiting tournaments, because you have the dream and desire to play what sport again?
Lacrosse.
That's right.
Division 1 lacrosse.
Division 1 lacrosse. And what are some of the top schools that you are hoping call here come this September 1st?
Oregon, Boulder, High Point, Villanova, and then there's a few others, but I have a pretty good list, and I'm open to options.
Okay. So you said Villanova, Philadelphia, close to Jersey. I like it. Very good school. Very good. You said High Point. There's one problem with High Point. There's 2 problems. 2 problems with High Point. Number 1, there's no football team. That's a problem. Number 3, number 2 is your brother goes there, and would that be a good thing or not if you went to school where your brother goes?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Okay, So no football, but your brother goes there, and from what I hear, he's doing pretty good over there. He knows a lot of people at High Point University, and that could be a good thing. It'd be easy for mom and dad. Great sports, great women's lacrosse.
Yes.
Right? And then there's some other ones over North Carolina, which I'm biased toward. I'm biased to that area. East Coast, North Carolina, very good area. But Oregon?
Yeah, Oregon.
Explain this, because I have a little bit of a problem with Oregon.
Yeah, I just came back a few weeks ago from their camp, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
I love the facilities and the campus. I didn't really know what to expect going there because I was like, oh, just a bunch of trees, and like I just didn't really know because I've never been there. But me and mom loved it. Like we were like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. And we weren't even there like in the spring and all the pretty like green. It wasn't super green, but it was still super pretty. And I love the school. So.
Yeah, it's a good school. What's interesting, I joke, I have zero problems with Oregon other than I've been an Under Armour guy since 2006. So I've got to make sure that if that is the school of your choice, is that I recognize it's got a great athletic program, it's a great school, and that you love it. And that's what's most important, is not the apparel brand, but if you love it, that's where you go to school on that. So, hey, from the West Coast to the East Coast, what's interesting as you guys listen in, if you don't have teenage kids, is at least in the female athletics is in lacrosse, right? They're offering these kids in the junior year. And here this fall, as you start to talk to all these different colleges, you never know. Will there be East Coast, West Coast, be one of those schools you mentioned or somewhere else? It's an exciting time of your life, isn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And what's the best part now that most of those camps are, because you got one more camp, actually as this drops, you just came back from High Point for the last recruiting camp, but what's the most exciting part about all of this?
I love my team. Like we're super close. So I love traveling with them. And it's just exciting. Like it's nerve-wracking to see all the coaches on the sidelines, but then it's also like, oh my gosh, just like
why is
reality.
it nerve-wracking?
Because it's just like they're evaluating you, and this could just like your future, and
but if
like,
you
oh my
make
gosh,
a mistake, it's no big
yeah,
deal.
no, I know that's what everyone says, but still, but it's at the same time it's super exciting, and you're like, oh my gosh.
My last question on this, because I think it's interesting for everyone to know. Outside of lacrosse, you do what? Like you're training, you're lifting, you're running. How many hours a week would you say in the summer, not with school, would you spend? Is it an hour a day? Is it a half hour a day? Is it no time a day? How much time do you think you spend a day in the recruiting process and training and everything else?
Training, I would say like an hour to an hour and a half a day. But it kind of depends because sometimes I'd run, like I'd go to the lake and I'd do like 3 miles and then I'd go to the wall. So that's a little bit quicker than like weights.
Yeah.
But I'd always get on the wall. We have a bounce back in the backyard, so I always do that or just go to a wall.
Why don't you just bounce back to me? I can catch and throw it back.
Yeah.
I'm not as efficient as the bounce back, you say. I'd have to catch it and throw it. I get it.
But yeah, it's it's not like my whole day, but I'll definitely do that every day or
hour and a half.
Yeah, an hour and a half.
That's good.
And then with school it's a little bit harder. But
I'm proud of you because I've seen you work your tail off. I've seen you embrace this process of recruiting, and you learned it from your brother Luke, who nowadays, when it comes to recruiting, if you want to play in college, you must take some action, and you gotta take some initiative in this. And you've done a great job, honey, this summer, really upping all of your commitment, which is what it's all about.
Thank
those
you.
things. So let's flip it around. Outside of that, those are all exciting things, and I'm sure this fall you'll get close to making a decision, maybe, God willing. What's the most difficult thing these days you deal with? You're 16 years old. What's the most difficult thing you deal with?
I would say probably social media and just I would say like comparing yourself, but in a way of everyone's posting and like you have to, oh, they're doing this, they're doing that. And I mean, I have a great group of friends. I love my friends and like we have fun and stuff, but I would definitely say social media because obviously it's just been so different. Even just the past few years, like it's just been.
What's the answer to that?
I think everyone's just on their phones now, and it's just kind of everyone posts what they do, and
Is there a solution, do you think? Like, how do you deal with is it the comparison game? Is it the anxiety that it can create? Is it?
I think it's a little bit of everything. I mean, I think I do a pretty good job of balancing. Like, I'm not super, like, I don't get anxiety and all that stuff, but I definitely know people who do, and I can see it just when everyone posts and everyone, I mean, you can just tell. But I would just say it's just people are just on their phone so much more now. And wherever you go, you post what you do, and you take pictures, and I mean, that's all fun and stuff, but it's definitely now, like, everywhere.
How many times does the average kid use Snapchat?
Snapchat is so common. Like, that is I use Snapchat way more than Instagram.
Like 500 times a day?
I mean, it's hard to say a number, but I mean, yeah, I'm on it a lot, but it's hard to say a number.
Is it 1,000 times a day? But, you know, it's interesting. You hear me always joke about the phone does have an on-off button, but it's a real problem that all of us kids and adults have these days because the phone can monopolize our time and energy and provide a lot of anxiety. And I just want to remind everyone, because I hear it in my kids all the time, that the phone does have an on-off button. You choose whether you want it on or off. And sometimes it actually creates some angst and anxiety when you turn it off. Like, am I missing something? I feel like, oh my God, I'm going to miss something. When the truth is, we never had phones, right? For most of our lives, adults. And now it can feel this weird feeling like if you're not connected to your phone, that you might miss something. And the truth be told is you're not going to miss anything, because if anything's that important, they're going to find a way to get a hold of you on that. So I think it's a real thing that it's a blessing and a curse. And I think in your day, you're going to be able to use phones for many different things in your jobs and in life, but there's also got to be some barriers and guardrails put up so that it doesn't affect your mindset negatively. And even like studying, and that you always hear me when you're studying, it's like, I'll come in, and you heard me say before about share with our listeners, is it takes 12 to 18 minutes to get back into your focused bubble if you get distracted from a dumb Snapchat or text that comes through. So get that phone out of here, right? But it's true, and I appreciate you sharing that, because it's a real challenge that all kids have. Heck, even as adults, we have that. But man, it's a real thing. Any other problems? Or that's probably the big one, huh? Challenges?
Yeah, probably. I'm pretty good. Yeah.
You know what's another challenge? This Cadillac.
Oh, that's a big one.
This Cadillac. Guys, this is big breaking news out of San Diego. But my 2006 Cadillac, it's about to go to the graveyard. And I'm going to battle with Melanie and McKenna I don't want to go to the graveyard. They want to go to the graveyard. So I come home the other day from a long trip, about a week, and my car was decked out in pink. Not the Cadillac. My car is decked out in pink. I'm like, what is going on? McKenna took over my car. She said, Cadillac's yours. I said, I love the Cadillac, but that's your car because you can take it to school and it can be dents all over. It doesn't matter. That's what you're supposed to have when you're in school, in high school, is a real dinger of a car. And so we're in a little battle now. I'd say that's a little problem.
Yeah, I'd say that's a problem too. We're getting through it.
We'll get through it. We'll get through it. Last question I have is, it really deals with you right now at 16, your dreams, aspirations. Do you have anything that you desire, dream to be someday? Do you have, Luke wants to be an attorney. Brady, as he shared, wants to really go into film and cinematography and producing movies and all this stuff. And like he's got big aspirations. Do you know that yet or not yet? You don't really have any idea.
I don't really have any idea. I mean, yeah, my go-to when people ask me is I want to be a real estate agent and like an interior designer, because when I was younger, I would watch, what was that show called? It was with Joanna and Chip Gaines. Me and Mom would like binge out on that show. Fixer Upper. And I loved like when Joanna would just fix up the homes with her interior design. And I have a pretty good eye. So that, I would probably say that, and like have my business of like real estate and interior design.
So you want to be the next Joanna Gaines?
Yeah, basically.
Wow. Why not? Why isn't Baylor on your list? They're
They
in
don't
Waco.
have lacrosse. Texas doesn't have lacrosse. I wish
What?
they did. I know.
Wow. That would have been a dream come true.
I know.
Okay, so that's good. That's a good start. So you maybe interior design, real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Any final thoughts for our listeners today, McKenna?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
Well, thank you for being here. It was an honor to have you on for the third time, I believe.
Yeah.
This is your third time on the podcast, but McKenna, she's growing up. I asked her, I wanted to have her on today with her brothers and share. So McKenna, I love you. I'm proud of you. I just crave time now that it's mom and you, the boys are in the house. I crave time with you, and in front of everyone. We're gonna have dates every week all year long. Correct?
Correct.
There we go. I love it. Woo, man. Let me just tell you what, I feel so grateful today as I record the Impact Show to have the three kiddos on. I always love when the family's together. This past summer we had some epic experiences and memories from being all together at the house to our trip to Montana, and just so grateful. Number one, when you heard the kids talk, McKenna, any time I get with her, I'm always battling for time with her. When she's 16, she's got a lot of girlfriends, and always out doing something. That's what, when you're 16, that's what you do. And with school and sports and recruiting on that, I'm glad that she was able to share some of what's going on in her life. And of course, Brady over at High Point University, he's studying away, and he shared so eloquently about Pastor Jeremiah and his takeaways from that internship experience. And of course, you just heard from Luke as well. And I couldn't be more proud of Luke with where he's at as he embarks upon his senior year at Davidson. I cannot believe he's a senior in college. It's not possible that he's a senior. It felt like yesterday when he was like in high school, and here he is graduating from college. And he talked, of course, about his dreams and goals to become an Army Jag attorney. Football is still very important to him, but his 40-year degree here, not just the 4-year degree, but the 40-year degree to become an Army Jag attorney, at least that's his goal, that's his plan, that's what he's been working for. Just makes me so proud as a parent. Parents, I wanted to talk turkey for a moment. When your kids go through struggle, it's so much easier for you to go through the struggle. I don't know if you all can relate, but when your kids are going through something, like you'd rather go through it yourself than have your kids go through it. But when they face adversity, you realize that's when they grow, when they're facing adversity and heartache and the things that some of our kids today shared, my kids shared, and some of the things that your kids have been through or that you were through as a child when we experienced loss or challenge, adversity, some of us share in true strength. This is when we get better, and this is when we grow. And I'm really proud today that both Luke, Brady, and McKenna were able to share what's working and exciting in their lives, and maybe what some of the big challenges are in their lives as well. Because all of us, regardless of age, whether it's a teenager, you're in your 20s, you're in your 50s, or even your 80s, we're all looking to get better, and that's what the Impact Show is all about. It's about getting better and the constant, perpetual pursuit for greatness, and how you personally and professionally could be the best version of yourself to create success and significance in all aspects of life. So thank you for joining me on today's Impact Show. Thank you for being part of our family, our podcast family, and as the Durkin family here, Melanie 2 weeks ago, last week, and then the kids this week. You had a chance to get a lot of the family in here. I hope that you are ready for next week, because next week we're gonna dial it up a notch. It's Labor Day. Yeah, it's Labor Day next week. So all I'm gonna say is on Monday, on Labor Day, be ready to rock and roll. Until next time, remember, train hard, eat right, live inspired, and go create impact.